Hello there guys, Thomas here, and now it's time to review the newest space movie called Martian. And before we go to the review itself, I'm gonna tell you two things about this review. This is based on the same name book, so I haven't read the book, so I'm not compromising this one to the book, but I am compromising this one to another space movie called Interstellars. Why? Well, let's find it out together. So, let's start about the story, and yeah, this is the some of the parts are the spoiler, and this is the spoiler part. The story of this movie was about the group of people who are in the Mars, and this group is named Earth 3. When the storms is coming to the Mars, and this storm is taking our main character Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, out of the space, and he doesn't manage to escape. The members of the group manage to escape, and he will report to the NASA that Watney is dead. But luckily Watney actually survived and start to live the life in the Mars and try to find out a way to get back to the Earth. Meanwhile, NASA also find out that this Watney is alive and he has lived his own life in there, something like that. And they are also trying to find the way to save Watney and bring him back home. And this will be the interesting space story about how there will be many failings, many calculations, many amazing things and something like that. So yeah, that was about the story. Well, there is a larger story if I have to tell you, but I don't spend your time so much, so that was the story for shortly. So, let's talk about the bad sides of this movie, because, well, there's only couple bad sides of this movie. The first bad side of this movie are some of the side characters. Don't get me wrong, some of the side characters are good, and main characters are incredible, but a couple of side characters, like, what was that one guy? Not that leader one in NASA's leader. Or what was that other guy? He was really forgettable too. I don't remember anything about that guy. I don't even remember who was acting with that guy. So yeah, he was really forgettable. Also, that NASA's leader was also really forgettable. But yeah, and I don't remember anything about those Chinese. Even that they were also in that movie. So yeah, they were really memorable. And the other thing I have to say is the ending. I was really disappointed about the ending. I mean, in this kind of movie, Martian movie, I was expecting something like something very different kind of ending. I mean, something like the main character surprisingly dies. He doesn't survive in the Mars, or when he's trying to escape from the Mars, or leave the Mars, then he would die in there. So yeah, ending was, well, how can I say, too typical ending thing. So yeah, they rushed ending, but the rest of the movie was great. I swear to you that, and we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, ending was rushed. And okay, this is just a nitpick. This is a nitpick. The next one. When they're in the space, and this is the space station, what was that huge space ship, whatever that thing was. And I'm gonna make it now the compromising to the Interstellar, because in Interstellars I was really impressed about one thing. There wasn't any sound effects in space, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I mean, Christopher Nolan finally made something what many, almost every possible space movies, I don't know, who maybe not every possible, or I don't know, but all of the space movies should do that. No sound effects in space. Okay, maybe I can understand the old space movies. Maybe those I can understand, but in the modern days space movies, you should just edit out the sound effects. And Interstellar was movie which made it. No sound effects in space. But in this movie, I was really disappointed. There was sound effects. There were sound effects in space. I mean, seriously, when the ship was like going, it was like there was the sounds like, and then in the space there was also the when the ship at the ending when they blew up the part of the ship, there was also the sound effects. And yeah, I'm not sure if that's difficult or something. I understand if that's a difficult but and yeah, like I said, it's just a nitpick. It's just a nitpick. Okay, so I'm not talking about that anymore in this review. So what do I like about this? And boy, there are a lot of this. The rest of the story, and I mean rest of the stories, not including the ending of the movie, was amazing. It was interesting thing. It was also had some couple of good laughs, funny moments here and there, but maybe that was the part. I understand that, because that was the part. Most of the time it was supposed to be drama. Sometimes it has a funny moments, but those funny moments, they weren't like making you too much laughs that it could have gone to too much the comedy. But it was still, most of the time it was drama, and yeah, that was pretty interesting. The story was definitely unbelievable. Well, it was great. It was a great story. And main characters, Matt Damon as a Mark Watney. I don't know how to spell that name, but yeah, Matt Damon as a main character is also so great job making. He's definitely making that role. He's just a great on this role. He's making once again this role again when he was trapped in the space. He has done this before in Interstellar, so why not to make it again? Yeah, but yeah, that doesn't bother me much, but that's still pretty cool. Like, but he was still great. Yeah, that was what I was supposed to say. What about the other characters? I know this other woman. What was that? Was it Lewis? Yeah, Lewis character. I don't remember who was that actor's name, but she was also in an Interstellar. Or so, yeah. Two actors from Interstellar are now the main role in this movie. She was also very likable. Couple of characters, and the rest of the groups, I don't remember her names very well, but they were really likable too. Characters too. Yeah, that was. I was looking for the character name. Yeah, and they were also really likable. And I have to say, Mars maybe it doesn't look realistic or something like, but it still looks pretty damn amazing. Yeah, it looks pretty amazing in place. Maybe not realistic, like in the real Mars would look like that, but still, it's pretty amazing. They used some of the, well, they say that it was only well, Arizona, yeah, that was it. Arizona covered in red sand, and yeah, that was pretty interesting. That was something like a great job, great job. But it looks just amazing. It was beautiful looking Mars, and the effects in this movie, even though there were some of the little effects, there were, or yeah, or come to think of it, there were actually much of the effects. They looked cool too. They were absolutely cool looking. And side characters, they're good. They were good. Those two black guys, he's in the NASA's headquarters, or working in the NASA headquarters. They were really likable. Was that one of the Chinese guy? I don't remember that. And but he was also so very likable. And I liked that when they were communicating with Matt Damon's character. Yeah, I'm calling now the Matt Damon's character. That was actually pretty interesting and very well made. I mean like wow, that's cool. That's the cool way to communicate. And yeah, when the writing, first of all, it was with the help of the camera, but then when he got the technology to work, he managed to write like in the computer, with the computers, I mean. So yeah, do I have anything else to say about the good sides? If I remember very much about this movie. I mean, it was a pretty long movie, but yeah, it has maybe a lot of to talk about. I guess not. I don't have anything else. If there is still something what I haven't told you. Or wait. When they were calculating how he can survive in the Mars, that was, for me, that was also so very well made then. And it when I watched the Screen Junkies, if that was the channel's right name, I was watching, I think, one of those reviews of made Martian movie, where were the couple of scientists. I was really sure about their, when they were analyzing this movie, but they said it was non-science fiction. Non-science fiction, the movie, that it could be possible to be that some sort of Mars living things could be maybe possible. So some of the things could be possible. So I was really impressed. As then, it would be maybe interesting if these are really possible. If these things are really possible, then I would definitely give the crap to this movie. I would say, wow, it's a pretty amazing movie. But I'm still saying that it's a pretty amazing movie. I mean, overall, I just love this movie. I mean, I love when they are trying to doing as realistic as possible. But to be honest, I'm still going to the Interstellar. Even though this one feels more realistic, I'm still going to the Interstellar. For some reason, Interstellar is still inspiring me because of the endings. I have to, okay, the endings are not the only way to compromise it, because if the Matron had the, well, better ending, I would maybe give the crap definitely to the Martian. But what was the, but yeah, because there was interesting in Interstellar too. I love Interstellar. And I love also Martian. But I have to go to the Interstellar because it was more fascinating, little more interesting. But don't get me wrong. This one is actually pretty close. It's actually closer than you can even imagine. It's maybe even closer than I can imagine. I mean, it doesn't blow Interstellar doesn't blow the Martian out of the water. But, yeah, these both are pretty amazing movies. I love both of these movies, but yeah, I'm going to the Interstellar because I'm the Christopher Nolan fanboy. And yeah, it has something. It's just a little bit more interesting than Martian, but don't get me wrong, Martian is still a pretty awesome movie. So, that was my review of The Martian. What do you think about The Martian? If you like the comments, please comment. If you like it, you can like it. And yeah, I got nothing else to say than see you later.